The topic for today is time is money. Come get this money with us.
All right, welcome back to our very first episode of our new podcast, In Comes the Money. My name is Pekens.
And my name's Deniqua.
All right, so this is exciting.
It really is.
And we have a pretty cool episode lined up for today. What's our title?
Our title is Time is Money.
Time is money. See,
Yeah.
I like this one because I kind of live by that.
What does that even mean, you live by it?
Well, I don't like my time wasted, and I realize how valuable it is, because it's almost like, well, it is that everyone's at the same level playing field when it comes to time. We all have the same amount of time, 24 hours in a day, whether you're rich, poor, educated, non-educated, dumb, smart. You all have the same amount of time. And what you do with that time makes all the difference.
That's so true.
Yeah. So the way I see it, time can actually be so much more valuable than money if you are like, look at a rags to riches story. Yeah, you can become rich with more money. Like someone invests, $1 million into you, but you have no idea how to manage that 1 million. Did I say $1 million?
Yeah,
How much money did I say?
A lot of money.
Okay.
Let's just say a lot of money.
So someone invests a lot of money into you and you don't know how to manage that. You might end up just losing all of that money.
Yeah.
Because you haven't put in the time to learn how to manage it. So how much value is that to you? Really?
Yeah.
You know, like you'll see so many different stories about
When people win the lottery, you're talking about?
Exactly.
Those are the saddest stories.
They are so sad. Because that'd be so cool if we won the lottery.
See, but
then you think about it, if you're not ready for it, your mindset isn't there.
it's that discipline with your time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're all in this society, and not just in this society, but we're always on the go trying to achieve the next thing. You're in school. You're not just there just to be there, just to get babysat. You know, you're there for a purpose. Everything that we're doing, it's so that we can achieve something or get to a better place, get to a different place. So everything that we do is a certain amount of investment, time investment, whether it's hanging out with your friends or not hanging out with your friends and you know, doing something else,
Spending
reading
the time,
a book.
yeah, doing something, investing in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So like all of that stuff, whether you're in school or whatnot, if you decide that you're going to be a doctor and then put in all of those years to study, maybe you should, look into shadowing so that you can make sure that you're not wasting your time. And I say
because
this,
when you choose a career, especially some of these paths for education, you're dedicating so much
absolutely,
to something that hopefully you actually enjoy. But, if you didn't do the research or you didn't have the opportunity to shadow and really see what it's like, you may have wasted a lot of your time that you won't get back.
Yeah. I remember, so my dad would sit us down all the time and ask us, so what do you want to be when you get older, when you grow up?
That's such a hard question though to
Very
ask,
hard.
because
but you had to have an answer.
But you change, kids change, adults change what they want to do so much.
Yeah, but what I realized was the important thing wasn't that we had it all figured out, because the adults don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
You know, the parents don't have it figured out. But what was important was he was trying to make sure that we had direction.
That you made a plan.
Yeah. That you have some kind of direction and you're not just wasting time at school.
Yeah.
Even if you decide to change your career,
that you took the time to intentionally think about what your next steps are.
Do something with your life. Do something with the, you have these teachers at your disposal and they have this knowledge. Use them.
Yeah, be intentional.
Yes, so that you can benefit yourself. And, you know, being in a state where you are, I guess, pathless. You don't have a path. You don't have a motivation, something that you're striving for. That can really spiral you down to a place where you maybe can't get out of.
See, I almost feel like when that happens, when you feel like you don't have any direction, I almost feel like time moves faster, and like it just feels like wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like yeah, just like minutes turn to hours, turn to days, turn to months, turn to years, and for some decades. And you just look up and you're like, oh my gosh, like this isn't even what I wanted. This isn't like I didn't plan, but you know, this is not the life that I would have wanted for myself.
And that's the thing. When you don't plan, anything can happen. Yeah. And anything might happen. But when you do plan, there's a better chance that what you want to happen will happen. Oh, that's kind of good. But yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
I think we all have been there, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yep. And that can also happen with just influences from others, whether it's a parent that means well and they're pushing you towards one thing, but because you don't have a plan of your own, you're going to adopt the plan that someone else has for you.
Yeah, I did that.
A lot of us do that.
Yeah.
A lot of us do that.
But, you know, and I think some of it's like societal pressure that like, even if you don't have anything figured out, because you like time is just passing, you just feel like you have to choose something just because.
Yeah.
And then you just continue doing that because you chose it.
Yep.
And you don't spend the time to think about what you actually want to do.
Yep. You know what I just thought about?
What?
Social media can be such a big time waster. Like, cause you were talking about like you're doing something and you don't even realize how much time has gone by. But at the same time, because social media is also good, but at the same time, it can also motivate you because you're looking at all your friends and
you're looking at the fake,
the FOMO,
the fake life.
Yeah, because you want to strive for the fake life.
life.
You want to strive for the fake life so bad that you're going to be like, I'm such a bum right now. How come all of my friends are getting married and having kids and
doing so much? They're traveling the world. Yeah. They're working at these amazing jobs. And
you ever see those posts where people are just flashing money and they're like, this is what $10,000 looks like.
Oh my gosh.
And you're just like, wow. $10,000.
I've never held that in my hands before.
And you might have $10,000 in your bank. You just don't hold it in your hand.
I'm not taking that out.
but somehow, like, you know, we it just tugs at our heart. It brings out the envy in us, and it could help with the you know, if you were wasting time. Nothing makes you go faster. Well, no, there's some things that can make you go faster, but the way that social media can motivate somebody to fix their life because they are comparing themselves, that is crazy. Like,
so are you saying you like social media for that or for time?
I'm saying I have mixed feelings about it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
See, I think I don't know. I almost think we're looking at it a little bit wrong, because I don't think it's just like social media. I think it's just having your phone in general, like just any app, because not everybody uses social media. It's
Yep.
like any app you have on your phone, any text message you get, we're in a society where our phones are just at our fingertips.
Yep.
And, I wish I looked it up, but I know there's a study that says how many times people look at their phone every day. And it's insane.
Yeah.
So just think about that. Well, just think about how many times you look at your phone. I'm sure
So
you
much.
might be, if you're watching us, you could be looking at it right now,
Yeah.
or if you're listening.
You know how you'll be scrolling through, you get ready for bed, you do everything that you got to do to get ready for bed. You're in the bed, you got your covers on, and then, you pull the covers over, and then you pull out your phone, and then you don't go to sleep until like an hour later.
And you just wasted all that time that your brain could have used to.
And you got to wake up early, and then you're mad at yourself, but you do it every day after that. Even though.
Why are you telling on me?
I'm talking about me. I don't know.
No, he's telling on me, guys.
Honestly, I'm talking about me because I'm so mad at myself for that. We call those time traps. So like what a time trap is something that you probably weren't planning on investing a lot of time in, but you start with a little bit, and then it turns out being a lot more time that you've invested than you wanted to. So one example is, I'm really big on like atmosphere. So if I come home from work and it's a whole different atmosphere from my desk, my office desk at work. So when I come home, the atmosphere is different. It's a lot more relaxed. So when I see that sofa and I've already put my bag down, I sink into that sofa.
Our sofa is comfortable though, guys.
And I'm just looking at the TV and I'm trapped.
You merge with the couch.
I'm merged with the couch and I am one with the television. I am completely trapped. And I say trapped because like these apps that we have like on our TVs and stuff, they're designed to encourage you to stay on the platform as much as possible. This is what's trending. This is what's popular.
And just so much content, because binge watching, I mean, we kind of used to binge watch when we just had TV, just let it play. But now we can choose whatever we want to watch and just watch an entire series in one day. It's just so easy. And then you don't even realize a whole day passed and you binge watch the series.
And I get so upset at myself because so my personality type is an achiever. And so there's so many different personality type tests out there. The one that I'm talking about is called the Enneagram. It sounds weird. It's spelled ENEA gram. If you want to look it up.
It's ENNEA.
Oh, oops. Sorry. I did that on purpose, trying to see if you pay attention, if you're paying attention.
But yeah, the Enneagram.
You passed. So Enneagram test. So I'm an achiever. And what that means is I'm always looking to, achieve something. And I think that's also why I have like FOMO, but with time. So I'll always look at the opportunity cost. We were talking about this earlier, but I always look at the opportunity cost of everything that I do. If I'm going to watch TV, what am I missing out on? Did I forget to call somebody? Did I need to work on do a hobby? Does that take time away from learning something?
Or playing with Kason.
Playing with Kason. Hanging out with my wife. Well, I guess we'd be hanging out because we watch a lot of the same shows.
I guess it counts as hanging out.
We're like passively hanging out because we're just sitting there.
We just happen to be on the couch at the same time watching the same show.
Man.
Yeah.
Time trap. We're in a time trap together.
Yes. And it's really sad. So the opportunity cost.
Yeah. So I have FOMO with time. And like I do it with every single thing that I do. Like right now, if I didn't feel like this was worth our time, I wouldn't be doing it. But I like this.
Yeah.
It provides a balance. I'm looking at all the things that it's doing for us. We have quality time with this. It allows us to do a hobby together.
To share our thoughts and ideas.
We're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Like all of making the set and setting up all of the stuff that we have to do for the podcast, and just learning more about ourselves, because it is stretching us in a way. We're investing our time in this so that we could potentially get something more out of it. And that thing could be so many different, it can look so many different ways. But yeah, I think that's a great way to look at things, although it can be a little overwhelming because I do it all the time. I think at least a little bit of that is very healthy, because like we talked about this earlier, if you don't have a plan, you'll end up just doing anything. You know how some people just hang out, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
We used to just hang out. And you know what? I think after having Kason and like getting just really busy with all this other stuff we're doing, we like forgot that we used to hang out. Like, I feel so busy now, but I'm like, what did we used to do? We must have just hung out all the time. Just
I think there's still a difference though with
really?
the way that we hung out.
I don't know.
There's a difference. Here's why. So, and I'm not knocking this. It's just I haven't done this in a while, in a long time.
All right, let's hear what he has to say.
So there's hanging out because one of our friends is having a game night, right? Or we're at church and then we start talking to one of our friends, and then they invite us over to their house, and then we
and then hours pass by, we're just talking and hanging out.
And we're hanging out. But we were hanging out after we established the purpose for our meetup.
What?
We established that we would do a game night. That's the purpose. And then we hung out. Whether we spend 5 hours or so after that, or 2 hours or whatever.
So you're just saying that we chose to go there and spend our time? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Versus.
But versus, here's the other way. Versus, I'm gonna stop by your house. What are we gonna do? I don't know. I have no idea. We just gonna hang out.
But you do that at your house. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but isn't there a difference with mobilizing, starting your car, driving down the street?
But you could argue.
Put it in the GPS, and then what are you doing? I don't know yet. We just gonna hang out.
But it's the same thing you do at home. Like, a lot of people are just comfortable, the same way they hang out at their house, they hang out at a friend or a family member's house.
Honestly, I want to do that. I want to hang.
But you can't. It doesn't sound like you can, because every time you're doing something, you're thinking about all the other things you could be doing.
Man, I'm gonna be so uncomfortable. What are we doing here?
See, but no, you say that, but I don't believe it, because you'd be talking.
It's the way you started.
No, I think if you just like, oh, I get what you're saying. You just don't.
I love talking. I love hanging out.
But it's not your nature. You would reach out to someone. You wouldn't just go and just say like, hey, I was in the area. Let's just hang out. Like, that's not your personality. But a lot of people would do that. And it depends on like the dynamic you built with the
Maybe
with
it's
the
because I'm an achiever.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what are we accomplishing?
So
what are we doing?
So guys, I'm actually a little bit different than him. So talking about the Enneagram also, I am an 8. I'm a challenger.
She challenges herself.
But let's not go into depth about that. So the reason why I say that is because like challengers, we like to be in control. Just gonna say that part quietly. So it's crazy because I don't. Like, I like to try to do like, or feel like I can do like as much things as I want to try to basically be in control of it. So I actually don't think about like the other things I can do. I really just think about, that I can do anything when I want to do anything. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. Do you know what I mean?
Not really. Elaborate.
Or
an example.
So I guess I guess my thought is I like to, like, whether I am able to do something, if I think of something, I will try to do it. I will research everything, and I don't really think about the opportunity cost. If I decided to do something, I'm going to try to
That's
put
it.
my all into it. And, whether I waste 1 billion hours trying to learn something I have no business doing, I know that I am in control of it. So whether it, succeeds or it crashes and burns, it's really up to me. And I didn't have to depend on anyone to make it happen, if
Got
that
it.
makes sense.
So let me just visualize this. If you're sitting at the house
Uh-huh.
and then you decide, I want to hang out with X person,
Uh-huh.
and then you send a text saying, I'm gonna hang out with you.
Mm-hmm.
Start your car. You've committed to it. Maybe they responded, maybe they didn't, but you've committed to it.
No, that's not what I'm
Okay,
saying.
they respond, they say yes. Okay,
No,
cool.
I'm more talking about in a general, because you were talking about the opportunity cost, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking about all the other things that I can do. I'm
Got
really
it.
just focused on the thing that I've decided to do.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So for me, I mean, after I've made that decision where, I've weighed the pros and cons and whatnot, I'm good. Cause like I like to make the right decision,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it is so that I can feel comfortable in within that decision after I've made it. Cause
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to second guess like, did I make the right one?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once I've decided, you know what, this is definitely worth my time because I want to invest in this relationship, because I like hanging out with this person, because I want to show some love, or because whatever the reason may be, and it could be many different reasons. Once I've made that decision, I need to really be okay with it, and then I'll be good.
That
Um,
makes sense.
but yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking about um, just the idea of casually hanging out with no aim, and
See, but guys, that's really just you, because you always feel like you need to do something and put yourself somewhere. And like, even just when you're like hanging out, like, I'm doing air quotes for those of you guys just listening. He's always like thinking about what other things he can do, and he just feels uncomfortable. So I think it is just your personality.
yeah. But when I'm going. Like if I'm with you and I'm listening to you, I'm all the way there. Like if I'm hanging out, I will hang out the best. I
He's
will be the best hanging outer
So
ever.
what he's trying to say is, if he wants to hang out with you, he's gonna invest his time.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna,
Yeah.
get it all.
So I've said this before, but like I'm like a train. Once I'm going, you can't stop me. I'm in there. I'm committed. Um, so if we say, but then again, I'm flexible. Come on.
You don't want to sound inflexible. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it's not that. It's that because I can be like spontaneous and whatnot. Like if we had this plan, then we do another plan. That's cool. It's just I guess I don't like to be too distracted with a whole bunch of other options. When like we discussed options, are we good? Now let's not even
You
discuss
just want to
all
make
the
a decision.
yeah. Let's not discuss all those other options that we've already discussed, and I don't want to do anymore, because then that'll just be too much processing power in my head, and that takes too much time.
It just sounds like it'd be a waste of time for you.
Absolutely. So I mean, the way that I look at time, it's like you're a landlord for your mental real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it like you have a few units in your in your mind, in this building in your mind, and that can include family, your job, your relationships, your hobbies, and you only have a limited space within your mental real estate. So you have to decide who can actually reside in this, who are just visitors, and who's waiting outside trying to get in, and should they get in? And if they do get in, who's going to leave? Because you can't just have a whole bunch of different families living in a studio apartment. It'll just get crammed. It doesn't work. You're going to have so much conflicts. So if you know you have limited time or limited mental real estate, you have to really choose wisely what's allowed in there. And you also have to think about, if this is in here in my mental real estate, what is outside of it?
So are you trying to say you should be thoughtful with who you spend your time with and who you invest your...
Yep. Because you can it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
And speaking of time, and like, you can actually save time by looking towards someone that, whether it's like time hacks or just looking to someone that knows how to do something that you maybe aren't focused on. So actually a great example of that, if you're in the New Jersey area, or maybe even not even the New Jersey area, because she does referrals and has a great network of agents. What I'm talking about is a local real estate agent by the name of Deniqua Antoine.
Who, me?
Actually, yeah, that is you. I didn't even realize. So Deniqua, this episode is actually sponsored by Deniqua Antoine, a realtor. She is an amazing real estate agent. She can help you buy a really nice house. So you tell her what your vision is, what you're looking for, and she'll consult with you and try to figure out the best situation for you. And on the flip side, if you're trying to sell a house and you reach out to her, she'll help you figure out what you should price your house at, and figure out all of the things that you don't need to do all the research for, because she will be that powerhouse for you to try to figure all of that out. And I've seen her firsthand go in to try to get someone the right deal, and just like, when she's committed to something, she is fully committed. So if you got her in your corner, you're definitely in great hands. But I mentioned that because...
Well, thank you for that. Let me stop you there.
You're very welcome. Shameless plug. But definitely, if you are interested, visit Deniqua.com. That's DENIQUA.com. And definitely reach out to her. It could save you some time.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I think there's a great segue to just talk about a few other time-saving tips. We talked about the time traps. So avoid those as much as you can.
Yeah.
Time traps aren't always like a bad thing.
So I think it's more just about like
limiting.
setting limits for yourself. So, we talked about social media being a time trap. There's also TV can be a time trap.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not saying these things are all bad. Guys, balance. You can't spend 24 hours a day working.
24 days working.
You definitely can't spend 24 days. You can't spend 24 hours sleeping either. It's all about the balance. So, social media, it can be a tool, if you use it for business, if you just use it to, look up influencers and see, pictures of people traveling, or if you use it to just talk to your friends. But setting those limits for yourself. If you spend, 4 hours a day on social media, that's probably too much.
Mm-hmm.
So just, being intentional with your time when it comes to those things as well. And then also being intentional with the time you invest in yourself. So, that sounds like it sounds more than it needs to be. Like when I say investing, it can be, putting, money into yourself, education, but it could be even simpler than that. First thing when you wake up in the morning, you could decide, hey, I'm going to spend 20 minutes writing in a journal, or I'm going to go for a walk because I really think that helps me clear my head.
Oh, I do that. I need that.
Yeah. And, being intentional with that and that me time makes all the difference. For me as a mom, like I've been really bad with this lately, but before Corona, I used to wake up at like 5:30, sometimes earlier than that, and I'd go to the gym and I'd go to classes.
I'd still be sleeping.
Yeah, he'd be sleeping, Kason would be sleeping, and it was I didn't imagine how beautiful it was. It was just so amazing to be able to, I just woke up and I didn't have to, feed my son. I didn't have to, maybe get Pekins lunch for work or something. I just got to get up and go exercise, clear my head, and take some time for myself.
Sounds beautiful.
It was. And you know what? I do miss it. I think, Corona made it so that our days really have no structure, but it doesn't have to be like that if we're intentional. And, I've been trying my hardest to wake up early and still do that. But it really goes down to being intentional. What's going to help you, make sure you have that me time. And if you can't do it first thing in the morning, which I do recommend first thing in the morning, because that's when you're freshest and you're dedicating those first moments, to yourself and your mental real estate to help you, be a better, spouse or parent or, friend or, just a better self. But you can also use that time, that me time, anytime throughout the day that would most benefit you. So if you are, a spouse and a parent, sometimes that's, you have to do it, at night when everybody's sleeping, but just making sure that you give yourself some time, I think is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the skill of time management is such an underrated skill, because we were talking about earlier that, if you know how to spend your time wisely, you can end up becoming rich, or whatever you can end up accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish. So like, if you know how to tame this beast of a thing that time is, then you can really do anything. That's like a superpower.
You call it taming time, but time stops for no one.
Yes, but like, you can't control it, but you can control what you do within it. So for example, when I'm commuting to work, or when I used to, before Corona,
when you get out of bed
back in
and
the
you go
old
over
days,
to your laptop,
pre-Corona
oh,
days,
you mean when you drove to work?
when I drove to work, my commute now is 2 minutes, and
it's not even that. It's 30 seconds. You stand
no
up.
time to decompress. Actually compress.
Oh, stop it. He's so dramatic.
Anyway, but when I'm driving, I'm in a forced environment because I have to be there. So if I'm going to be there anyway, might as well put something on that I think will be beneficial to me. That's where I'm investing in myself. So what I would do is, I would listen to things on like YouTube or Spotify.
Like podcasts?
Yeah, like podcasts.
Something like this?
Something like this. I don't know. Am I going to listen to our own podcast?
I mean, we've got some good gems on here. Some money.
Well, I'll listen to it when we're editing. But yeah, no. Yeah, if the thing is, when we're talking right now, I feel like we're teaching ourselves. So yeah, I might watch this.
Yeah,
I might watch this. Maybe we'll teach ourselves something. But anyway, I would learn so much stuff just sitting in my car, watching or listening to something. I'm not watching. Right?
Look, he's telling on himself, guys.
I am a little bit. I mean, I might glance a little bit, and then I'll go right back to the to the road. But it's just because YouTube has everything. You know what I mean? YouTube has everything in bite-sized as well as non-bite sized. So yeah, and I would learn so much. I want to learn a new skill. Pull up a video and listen to it. And that time was so valuable. I think if you could find something where you're in a forced environment, you have to be there anyway, try to figure out something that you can do that will, I guess, make it even more worth it than it already is.
See, so like what you just described, that is just one of the examples of, how you can do that, specifically with like podcasts or like just different things that you can learn and listen to. And I feel like that's a big reason why podcasts have really taken off, because
Yeah.
you can listen to them.
Multitask.
Yeah, you can listen to them really as you're doing anything.
Yeah.
If you're doing chores, if you're like if you work in a warehouse or a job where you don't necessarily need to like be on the phone and you can just listen as you work, listening to podcasts is super helpful.
Yeah.
And personally I do like to listen to podcasts in the shower too.
Yeah. When you're in the shower going for a run.
My showers are long.
Yeah. Especially when she got to do her hair.
I don't listen to the whole podcast, just maybe like 20 minutes.
But yeah, don't like you don't have to avoid the time traps, but you got to master the time traps. Like use the time traps in a way where if you wanted to watch TV, that's fine. Watch TV, but know that if you don't stop yourself, you might end up binging for the whole day. If there are enough episodes for the whole day, you might end up watching it for the entire day. But if you tell yourself, I gotta stop at 2 p.m. because I need to focus on this and that as well, because you're allocating or budgeting. So look at time management as if it's money management. With money management, you have bookkeeping software and you have professionals to help you manage it so that you don't mismanage it and waste it and do something that you'll regret later. You can do the same thing, and you should do the same thing with time. You use time management software, to-do lists, and all of that to help manage it so that you don't mismanage it, so that you don't regret what you did end up doing with it later on.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
To-do lists and scheduling things, because
use the tools.
If you only have so many hours in a day or so many hours in a day that you can dedicate towards something, you want to know what you're doing with your time, and you want to know how far how far you've gotten towards your goals that you've set for yourself. And, even further, scheduling things out. If you have the ability to, schedule and say from this time to this time, I'm going to do, X, that can help you kind of stay on track, because you'll know, okay, so now let's say it was from 12 to 1, it's almost 1 and I still haven't finished this. Mm-hmm. So, but that's okay. That happens, but you already know I've dedicated an hour to this and I should have gotten it done within an hour. Mm-hmm. So I need to get it done within the next 30 minutes and move on to the next task if I want to stay on track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I just thought about? How when you have like a budget meeting or something, or you're just thinking to yourself, I need to budget my life, but budget my money.
Says no one ever. Budget my life.
No. Okay. What I mean is, like, you may say to yourself, I have a goal. I want to buy a car. So in order for me to achieve that goal, I need to budget better, mm-hmm. because I'm not going to make any more money. My income is fixed, so I need to budget better so that I can end up saving.
Spend less, save more.
Yeah. So what you'll do in this budget meeting is you'll start tracking your spending and see, where did I spend my money this last month, right? And you'll see, okay, I wasted it here. I used a little bit more than I should have for this. I should actually put more money into that, because it could probably make me more money later on if it's something like learning a new skill or whatever it may be. So anyway, you look at all the things that you currently spend your money on and what you don't spend enough money on, and you try to budget accordingly. Mm-hmm. I think we should also do that with our time, because we've established earlier that time can actually be more valuable than money.
No, I think you could argue that time definitely is more valuable than money.
Yeah. Do you want to talk on that?
Yeah. So so in my opinion, like, so we've all worked at minimum wage jobs, and you literally, let's say you worked a 40-hour work week and you get that paycheck, and you're like, oh wow, like this is it. I spent this many hours, and this is all that I've gotten to show for it. And you're thinking about all the different things that you can do. Maybe some of you guys are entrepreneurs, and you're like, I literally could be spending this time building a business, building an empire. And you can do that. And just imagine the difference, from working, whatever job. And you think about it this way. So your job decides what your time is worth. And we all know that, our time is worth more than that. We'd like to be, paid accordingly for, and that could be, I'd like to be paid millions of dollars for my time, but that doesn't mean that's going to happen. But, our time is so valuable, and money is just a way for us to really just pay our bills.
Yep. So I'm thinking about it in a I guess similar but different way. So man, I lost the train of thought. It was so good too.
We could come back to it. I have a little bit more to say about that because, when
Oh, I
you,
got it.
okay, go ahead.
So with time, you can decide whatever it's worth. You can be completely poor, but then someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I would love it if you can come over and I don't know, mow my lawn for me," and then you can decide, hmm,
To a limit.
yeah, well, you can decide, okay, this is worth um a $100,000 for me, for me to spend five hours or however long. Let's say it's an hour for me to spend an hour to cut your grass. I think it's worth what did I say? That's probably
hundred thousand
ridiculous.
dollars.
That may be a little
That's what
ridiculous.
I'm
But
saying.
let me say 1,000. But we can't judge what this guy.
That's still ridiculous.
But that's his
That
time.
guy's gonna mow the lawn himself.
That's his time. See, when it comes to
But we gotta
money,
pay bills.
sure, but when it comes to money, it's fixed. You can't change how much value $100 bill is. You can't change how much a $5 bill is. It's already there. You can't change
Or you
it.
mean like what it can buy, what it does for you?
Yes, the value of it. You can't change it. That's what it is. Like if we look at the same dollar, the same $100 bill, it can't have more value to me than it has to you. It has the same exact value. But when it comes to time, it doesn't matter who you are. You can decide what it's worth. And then you can make the decision to say, I'm going to charge this amount for me to invest my time. And I think we all need to like really think about how much power we really do have. If you are at a job that you absolutely hate, but it is helping you grow, maybe continue investing and growing from it so that you can end up applying that information towards something that can help you um, have more value. But if you're at a job where you hate and you're also not growing, maybe it's not worth your time for you to still be over there. And it's up to you to decide how much that's worth to you. Is it worth it for you to get paid $100 for those hours? That might be enough. That might be what you've decided, but you have to decide. Don't let someone else decide. Like there was a time when I was struggling as an entrepreneur, and I thought to myself, maybe I should get like a part-time job. And I didn't look at it like, oh man, I'm gonna get paid so little. I looked at it like, no, I'm going to get this job and have a little bit of stability so that I can then use that to buy some time for my business,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what's really valuable to me.
It was a means to an end.
It was a means to an end, and I can decide, okay, once I've invested in this thing that I'm building, I can say it's worth this amount for me to consult with you or for me to do this kind of service or whatever.
So it gave you the flexibility to say no. To say no and be selective with your time.
Yeah, I had to identify, I had to really own up to my, the power that I have to decide how much my time is worth. Yeah. And like, I think we forget that sometimes because it's so easy for someone to tell you this is how much your time is worth. You go to an interview and you're not telling them right off the bat, okay, I'm not going to work here if you're not paying me,
Some people do.
yeah, but you do that afterwards during negotiation or whatnot, right? Okay, maybe
Some people.
I don't know, but from what I know,
I'm not saying they should, but they do. They do.
from what I understand, when you go to an interview, the company has already looked at their business and their finances, and they've said this is what we can afford, and we're not going, and it won't make much business sense for us to go over what we can afford. So we have this budget. We'll bring people in. We'll talk to them, and we're going to put a value on the time that they invest in our organization and our mission, and that's completely fair. Because when you start your business, that's how you're going to have to look at it. It's completely fair. You can't hate the game because you want to be good at the game because the game can help you. But no matter what value someone puts on your time, it's up to you to decide, okay, I am okay with this, but at some point I'm going to be at a different place so that I can get much more value for the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
If you just take it and you just say, this is it, for the rest of your life, you're just allowing other people to decide how much you're worth.
Yeah.
I think there's a big difference just understanding or taking a stand for yourself. I'm going to do this hourly wage. I'm going to get this hourly wage, but I'm also going to invest the other time that I have to myself in something else.
Yeah. And it's really just the concept that, they're giving you money for the time you invest in their company. So, which is fine. Like if you, want to work for a company or if you want to be an entrepreneur, either way, but just realizing that time is the investment. That's the value there,
Yeah. Everyone's looking for your time, and it's up to you to decide how much of it do you want to give and how much are you going to get back for the amount of time that you've given. And once you've done that like opportunity cost and you've done the planning, because it's like you're a financial planner, but for time, you're a time planner. You always have to plan your time, or else someone's going to plan it for you, because everyone's always looking for someone's time. Whether it's like you want to learn something from somebody, so you want a guru's time. You want someone to teach you,
You want that expert.
Yeah, you want an expert. Everyone's looking for your time, and it's up to you to decide how you want to balance it, how you want to budget it. So let's go into a few other tips. We talked about the time traps and identifying what those are so that you can take control of them. Use them, but don't let them abuse you. Don't fall victim of the time trap. Use your phone, but don't get lost in your phone and not realize
don't do that.
you were even, not
That
realize that you
hours
spent
passed.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't become a zombie. We talked about using a to-do list, using tools to help you, just like if it was money, using tools to help you manage your time and plan your time well.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are just awesome at time management. Other people need that structure to help guide them to make sure that their time is being used, effectively.
It's hard. It's so tough because we're like our brains are wired differently. You have to really try to figure out what works best for you. Um, because I know for me, I like to write. I like to write the things that I need to think
Like
about.
just on a list, you mean, right? Like a to-do list?
Yeah, yeah. Like I remember back in college, I would have this little notebook in my back pocket, and I'd have all my little ideas and notes and all that. Like
A little tiny baby notebook.
oh man, that thing held everything. I still got it.
I saw it, guys.
I still got it because it just reminded me of such a beautiful time in my life where like I felt so in control of my time because it's like when you're in high school, you got like the block scheduling or whatnot. Everything's already figured out for you, right? So when I got
Not even just the classes, the times of the classes, but you still got a budget. If you do activities, if you do
yeah,
sports, in addition to your schoolwork. I remember staying up super late, having trouble managing my time because, if you do any after school activity, you don't get home until late. And then you
yeah.
didn't even eat yet. And then you got to do a paper, and if you have multiple classes at once, so I think that's a real test for time management. These
I
high school and college students.
I agree that there's a lot of time management that you need to have with it. For me, I felt like the stakes were just so much more higher when it came to college because I felt so much more independent, and I felt like if I made a mistake, I'm not gonna blame someone else. I'm gonna blame myself.
Who do you get to blame in high school?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could. My,
I
my
didn't get to
teacher,
blame anybody.
I don't know. Like you're gonna be there regardless. You're going to be in high school regardless. That's something that has been decided for you. You are investing your time into this, whether you like it or not, for the most part. College is optional. You've decided to invest your time into this, so you have to take it seriously, much more seriously than something that has been decided for you. And for me, because I took that ownership of the decision that I've made to voluntarily invest my time into school in college, I needed to be the king of my
The
time
king.
management. I needed to be the person that decides, okay, yes, this is a good thing for me to do. No, this is not a good thing for me to do right now because of X, Y, or Z, because I have goals and I have plans. And
So it basically gave you like a crash course on time management, the skill that you hadn't been taught before, unfortunately.
yeah, and well, I've been taught it, but the stakes weren't as high. So
Really?
it was much more serious. So yeah, I'm very grateful for that because like I would do so much, I would juggle so much, and um, it was great.
Yeah, I remember those days. I multiple jobs, trying to do activities, working on campus.
Yeah.
That it almost seems like surreal when I look back, just doing all of that. I'm like, it almost doesn't seem like me because I was
hmm
like, how did I do all of
How
that?
many jobs did you have at one time?
I had three at one
Three
time.
jobs.
Yeah.
And a full-time student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
was just like, I think from coming from high school and doing sports and activities, I think I just stepped into another realm of it and it kind of just continued and
Yeah.
I just didn't even realize. So it's so crazy because as soon as I stopped, I remember just thinking about going back to get my master's and I was
hmm
like, no. I was like, this isn't gonna happen. Like just the thought of like doing school full time and working full time or
hmm
working multiple jobs, like I was like, I'm not interested.
Yeah. See, for me, like when I was in college, I wasn't necessarily like comparing what I was accomplishing with someone else so much, but rather like it felt good to feel like I won the day. Like if I felt like I accomplished so much in that little notebook, my to-do list in that notebook, I felt so good. I felt like I was on top of the world because like I would get involved in like student activities, and this is outside of studying and
why did you use that notebook instead of the agenda? They didn't give you agendas? Those were too big?
Those were kind of big, yeah. And like I would be doing so much. Like so, I worked at the computer services department at my school for a bit, and I would be pushing around these big computers. Like a lot of people in the school knew me for that. Like I'd push around these
You were a
computers.
computer guy?
I was a computer geek. You know, I was in it. Like um, I would fix everyone's computer, um, and and yeah, it was just so much easier to just have something that you could just slide out your back pocket and look at to see like.
So you
To
were
keep
referencing like what you had to do next after you helped a
absolutely,
client?
and I would like, yeah, yeah. So it would be student activities, it would be homework, it would be business because I actually had a business a few blocks from the school that a lot of people didn't even know about because well they weren't the target audience for some of the services that we were offering, and I, I I had so much pride in the fact that I was able to do so much, whether it's like having the business and then I come back and then I have class and then I'm pushing around these computers and then I'm like
I'm not
running for
gonna
student
lie.
government.
It feels good to be busy
Oh, it
sometimes.
feels so
To
good.
have that schedule full.
Yeah, I
Feel
feel
like,
valuable.
yeah.
You know, make yourself
Cause you
feel
got
valuable by
you have
doing
somewhere to
something.
be, something to do.
Yeah,
It's that purpose.
yeah. Purpose does wonders for you. You know, like definitely try to like. So I try to tell people, even if you don't know exactly what you want to do, because like not everyone has it figured out, and that's completely okay. But definitely try to do something because it will help propel you to the next thing that you can explore next. And maybe that could be something that you really enjoy, but you'll get so much further doing something than getting trapped in one of the time traps,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Um, so another thing, we talked about being busy, but there is such thing as being way too busy. Because remember, we're talking about having that mental real estate, and you only have a certain amount of space within that mental real estate in your mind. So that means that naturally there are going to be things that you absolutely can't let enter your mind. So one essential skill that you need to learn is how to say no. Oh man, it can be so hard though. Cause they're like,
Yeah.
come on,
No,
D,
sorry,
you're not gonna help me out with
not
this.
for me. I say no, and you know, it for me it kind of just comes down to like I I really do think my time is really valuable. And but I'm also like if I say yes to this, I know that I'm saying no to something else.
Mm-hmm.
And that may mean like if I do say yes, I'm sacrificing time with, you know, my family.
Yeah.
You know, if I already had plans for myself, like let's say I had some plans for me time,
Mm-hmm.
am I going to tell myself I'm not going to have me time so I can do something else?
Yeah. It can be so tough because for me, I like to
You like to help.
I love to help. I'm also a people pleaser. And I also like to accomplish. So I feel like if I say yes to certain opportunities, I can increase the
Get an
likelihood
easy
of me.
win.
Yeah, I can do an easy win, especially if I know I can do it. But that can be a really big problem. There was a time I was helping out a nonprofit with their website, and it took so much time, and that time took away from paying paying stuff, and I enjoyed doing it. So I did see it through the end. I did see it through the end, but then when it came time to jump back into another project with them, and I had to look at the opportunity cost surrounding that, unfortunately, I actually just did not, as much as I wanted to do it, I did not have the mental real estate available or just the time available for me to do it at my best. So if I knew I'm not going to be able to give you great quality work, and I'm not going to be able to focus, give you the attention that you deserve, it's really not in my or your best interest for me to invest my time into it if I'm going to be distracted.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like you're really investing your time. You're only investing a little bit of time, and they need more than that.
Yeah, so it's not fair to them if I can only give a few pennies of my time and they require much more than that.
They had expectations that your time couldn't meet.
So think about, like, don't think about that, oh, it's I feel so bad that they're not going to be able to have my time or whatever that may be. But also think about how it can really negatively affect the person that you're saying yes to if you can't actually give more than what you can give.
Because they could have just gone with someone else that was able to invest if you had just been honest and said that you couldn't dedicate what they need.
So yeah, be honest with yourself and be honest with others, because the more you let them think that you have a whole bunch of time available, those expectations will drive you to the ground and you'll be overwhelmed, and you really can't blame them. You can only blame yourself.
All the things you said yes to that you probably shouldn't have. But that doesn't mean that you can't walk it back.
Mm-hmm.
If you overcommitted, that you're just going to have some tough conversations to get that time back, because your sanity is most important.
Mm-hmm. It might be late, but it doesn't have to be too late. And you're still alive. If you can't help this organization or this person
time
at this time, help them when you're more capable. It's just like money. Time is money, like the title of the episode. If you only have $1 to spare, then it's not possible for you to buy something that's worth $10. So if you only have 1 hour to spare, it is not possible for you to accomplish something that requires 10 hours. Think about it like that, and then it becomes a little bit more black and white, more fair. You have to be fair to yourself.
So I think one thing that you could add to that is, before you commit to something, find out what it really entails. Sometimes it's so easy to say, yes, I can do something, but we don't
check
really
your
know.
wallet, check your time wallet.
Check your time wallet. No, check the other person's time wallet or whatever, because they could ask you to do something and you may think that you have the time to do it, but they actually need more than the time that you think it's going to take. So let's say they needed help. Let's say somebody's moving. You have a friend that's moving and they say, hey, can you come help me move? And you're like, yeah, sure thing. You go help them move, and they have so much stuff that it's literally going to be all day. You didn't plan to help them all day. You only plan to help them for a couple hours. So what do? Do you leave them high and dry? Let's say it was just you and them, and they have couches and large things to move, but no one had that conversation about expectations for your time. And literally it's just a huge miscommunication. So you have a tough decision to literally ditch your friend, in their time of need, literally, like their stuff could be outside, and, just, you didn't have that conversation.
Yeah. So when it comes to investing time into something, look at the time. When it comes to investing time into something, look at the amount of time budget that the person actually has. They require X amount of time, and make sure that that's clear to you. And then you look at your time wallet, and then you say, okay, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I have this many.
Long to spare. This many hours to spare.
I have this many hours to spare. Ooh, that doesn't fit, because your time budget is way more than what I have available. So I am not, respectfully, I cannot help you with this at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe when I get my next paycheck, which means tomorrow or whatever, when you recuperate.
when I have some available time at a later date.
Exactly. When you have available time at a later date, maybe I'll be able to have more available to help you out. So start thinking about it like that, and maybe you can be a little bit more fair to yourself and not overexert.
Yeah.
And speaking of overexert, delegate.
Yes. So I mentioned earlier that I love to be in control of things. It's part of my nature. It's naturally hard for me to delegate
Mm-hmm.
because, it's hard for me to let go of some
Mm-hmm.
of those things. But, I try to remind myself that, especially if you're getting people to help you do other things that they are experts at, that I don't now have to learn something completely different to do it. It literally makes all the difference. And it saves me more time that I can spend doing something else
Mm-hmm.
just by delegating something that somebody can do better, or that
Yep.
somebody, has more, knowledge of.
Yep. Think about the richest, most powerful people in the world, or just like the head of the company that you work for. Jeff Bezos doesn't deliver the packages to your door, you know and there's a reason for that. It's not the best use of his time. He has to delegate that so that he can have a better impact, a bigger impact than what he would have if he did every single thing, because as rich as he is, he still only has 24 hours in a day, and he can't change that,
Mm-hmm.
and neither can you. So like, yeah, it makes so much sense to try to figure out um what is worth it for you to spend time doing, and what is not worth it for you to do.
Yeah. And that's something you really have to think about pretty much with a lot of things, because you could be spending. So let me give you an example. So let's say you work really long hours, and so does your spouse, and you also have a child. You could decide to hire someone to clean your house once a week. And I know, like, I have a friend that does this, and it does sound like next level. Like, you made it. You have a cleaning lady to come clean your
Bouginess.
house. Yeah. But think about it in this way. Like, you only have so many hours left in the day
Mm-hmm.
after you get done with work. Do you want to spend that time now cleaning your house when you're exhausted, or do you want to spend those hours, with your child and with your
Mm-hmm.
spouse that you finally are just so happy to see?
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it like that, you're like, I could pay someone, $40 a week to
Mm-hmm.
come over for 4 hours to clean.
Yep.
I could definitely do that.
Yep. It same thing with laundry. Some people don't do their laundry because they feel like the amount of time that I have to drive over to the laundromat if you don't have it at your house, and then I gotta load it and wait because I don't want to leave my clothes because then someone might take it. So you're there, and then you're spending hours doing laundry when you could potentially bag it up, drop it off at a laundry service, and then you pick it up when you're at your convenience.
Yeah. The same thing with groceries too. Being able to have a service deliver your
Mm-hmm.
groceries, it saves you that time from being in the store. And I didn't think I'd be a fan of it, but I
Yeah.
actually am.
Yeah, another thing. So we have an instant pot, and that saves us a good
Oh
amount of
yeah, we love
time.
our Instant Pot. I'm
Yeah,
obsessed. I'm obsessed, guys.
yeah, we have two. Yeah, Dee actually just made some chili on one pot and then rice on the other, and it cuts down the time by so much.
Yeah, it really does.
We don't chop our peppers and onions. We get the bagged ones.
I sometimes
Okay,
chop
she
them,
chops them
but
sometimes. But
we
you
only have so much hours in the day, so
yeah,
we're deciding some things that we can just cut out and
yep.
have an acceptable alternative.
Oh man, there was one time we got too many tomatoes. We ordered tomatoes from ShopRite, and then we
No, it
got
wasn't ShopRite. It was Whole Foods.
okay, Whole Foods,
We
yeah.
we went to order 3 tomatoes, and they give us 3 bags of tomatoes. So we were like,
What are we gonna do with this?
what do we do with all these tomatoes?
So we're looking at recipes and stuff, and then like I landed on this tomato soup. Or I don't know if
No,
you.
you did. It was
Okay,
you.
so I landed on this tomato soup, and I was like, I can make us some tomato soup. Like it'll be really cool, because we got to use all these tomatoes anyway. And so I followed the recipe. I cut all the tomatoes, one by one. It was so many
He
tomatoes.
didn't have to do that. We have an amazing blender,
Yeah,
which he didn't find out until like the third time
yeah,
we did
yeah.
it.
I didn't value my time enough to figure out ways to be more efficient,
Yeah.
because I was just focused on following the recipe and doing it to the T so that it tastes okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got comfortable with it, I followed it, and I was able to freestyle a little bit, make it taste real good, and it did taste real
It
good.
did.
You know.
It did.
So after that, that's when I realized, that's when the obvious stuff just hit me. It hit me like a brick on the head. I was like, we got this blender. We could just blend it. And then I was like, well, why don't we just buy the canned tomatoes?
Because it's healthy. It's healthier.
No, we got the cans now.
No.
Save some time. We got the cans now.
I like when he makes the soup from scratch.
Yeah, so I actually haven't tried the can yet, but we have them for when we're ready. Save so much time because I got stuff to do.
Anyway.
So another thing is removing negative energy from your life.
What does that mean? Can you explain?
So energy can uplift you and energy can also drain you. And the more drained that you are, the less likely you will have the energy to invest in yourself or something that you're interested in. So the more draining energy that you have around you, the less productive you'll be. And being productive is like what you do with time management.
Mm-hmm.
You manage your time so that you can be productive. And if something is hindering you from being productive, it should be handled with. It should be taken out of the equation. Because that's harmful to you. That's harmful to your value.
It's more than that. It's productive or effective. You know, if something is literally working against you, like let's say you're working with a coworker and they're not making your job easier. They're making it harder by, leaving things off or not doing the things that they're supposed to do. And then you have to go back and do them. Those kind of things, like they negatively affect you.
And being sad and mad, it takes so much energy that it distracts you. So if someone irritates you, maybe you should limit the amount of time that you spend around that person so that you could be a little bit more happy. The more happy you are, the more you can focus on something without all the distractions of being sad.
The thing is, energy is contagious. So that negative energy, you're taking it in, and you're basically turning into that negative energy that you're experiencing.
Yeah. So with like, take a audit of things in your life that are bringing you down, and you have to stand up for yourself and say, you know what, I should probably take this out and add more of this into it.
Yeah.
So let's go into a really fun segment of the show where we choose one thing or another.
So it's like a would you rather.
Would you rather?
All right, I'll say them. So would you rather have $1 million, but you can only use it on yourself, and if you use it on anyone else, or if anything that you do with the money is used by anyone else, you lose it all. So that's the first one. Or would you rather have 100 million extra minutes, and you can only use that time to learn something, but you can't earn anything with those minutes, or you lose it all?
All right, I got my answer. Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I would definitely choose the 100 million extra minutes.
I knew it. Oh.
Yes. Oh, you thought I was going to choose the money?
I thought you were, for sure.
Nope.
So explain.
Okay. So with the minutes, I feel like I can do I can learn whatever I want. So in life, it's not just about earning some money for a living for me, because that can only give you a certain level of fulfillment. You'll be like, oh, I got X amount of money in the bank account. Now what? Yeah, you spend it on this, you spend it on that, but are you fulfilled? Some of the things that you invest money into can lead to fulfillment. But what if you can get straight to the fulfillment? Do you need the money? So the way I see it is, if I can learn how to play the piano, if I can learn how to run the most successful, I can't say successful business because I can't earn from it. The most successful nonprofit, because I love to help. They
can't pay you.
That's fine.
As the boss.
Nah, I'll do it for free. I got time. I got time. You know what I mean?
100 million extra minutes, though.
Yes, that's so much time. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
We didn't even calculate how many minutes that is.
I don't care. That's so
I mean, how
much.
many like days or
Hours and
hours? Yeah.
that just sounds like so much. Because at the end of the day, when I die, I want to be like um beat up, used, and like I want to be able to have nothing else left because I've given so much to this world and people in it.
So,
And that option allows me to do that so much more than $100 million that I can't even spend with nobody.
but you just made it hard because you're just saying, do you want the money or do you want the time? Is that why we're doing these ones?
Well, yeah, but there's twists in all of them, because with the money, you like if you spend that $100 million on a mansion, you can't have your kids and your spouse with you because they're benefiting from it. It has to be selfish. It has to be like you got your own mansion, and then your family lives in whatever house you can afford with your job.
I wanted to choose the 100 million, but I don't see a scenario where somebody wouldn't benefit from it and then the money's gone.
But you got so much money though.
Yeah, but I can't do anything with it. Okay. I guess I'd choose the minutes too, because all the things I'm thinking about doing with the money would involve other people.
Mm-hmm.
Even, yeah, just any of it. I don't even know what I do with $100 million if I can only spend it on myself.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do for yourself.
It's like, so with time, there's a market for it. Other people need your time. So it's like the stock market or whatever. Like there's a market for your time. So if you have play money, if you have like monopoly money, and then you take it to the bank or a store or whatever, you can't do anything with it, even though it has value in some other medium. But yeah.
You know what? I changed my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't talk about the length of time. So if I'm 26 right now, so $100 million I can use over the course of my lifetime, and I can just
to buy food.
To just go on trips by myself. That's gonna be like ultimate me time.
What if I can't afford it and I can't go with you?
It's me time. I'm traveling the world by myself. No, I definitely vote that because I love to travel and go on vacation. So
she done left me here.
I'm sorry. You could watch the kids. I got $100 million to spend.
I'll make my own money.
I can't spend it on you. I'm not allowed. That's the requirement.
Well, have fun, D. Have fun.
I'm sorry, but it's.
I'm crying.
I'm just thinking all the places I could go with this imaginary money, guys.
Not what I thought you were gonna say.
I know it sounds really bad, but I had an epiphany that like I have my lifetime to spend this $100 million.
You didn't even say food.
It's like, well, I'll spend it on food in these various countries that I go to. You know how long it'll take me to spend $100 million going to like different countries, depending on like how much the money can buy. Like I could like.
You know what? No judgment on this.
I'm not buying a mansion to live in by myself. I'm going on me time vacations because I have this money that I have to spend, but before I die.
Yeah. 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 I mean, you can do it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our would you rather. Let's see. So we like to leave you with just something to think about until the next episode.
Money for the day.
Money for the day. What is our money for the day?
Our money for the day is choose your companions carefully.
Choose your companions carefully. I mean, this makes a lot of sense for our topic as well. Time is money. And if you have companions, friends who do not value your time, then maybe you should really reconsider spending that time with them. So what does it mean to choose your friends carefully? Like if you have toxic friends, it's going to pull you down.
So think about it this way. You are choosing to spend time with, your friends, your companions. So you're investing time in them. And is your investment worth it?
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
So I'm not saying, you have to like get money from the friendship, but are you getting value from the friendship you have with them?
Yeah.
Is it worth the time that you invest?
Yeah. So think on that.
Yeah.
And I think that wraps it for our first episode. What do you think? All right. This was cool.
This was. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you listened to the end, we definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. For all the people that made it to the end, we love y'all. I mean, we love the people that listen for a minute too. But we know that time is money, and you decided that we were worth it.
You invested your time in what we had to say.
You.
And yeah, thank you guys.
All right. So see you next time. If you hope, what's up?
No, and hear us too.
Oh yeah. Hear and see us next time. You can watch us on YouTube and also listen to us on the audio platforms as well. We look forward to building a community with you. So definitely engage, comment, like, share, review, reach out to us. We're real people.
We'd love to hear what you guys think about the show so far. If you guys, have any thoughts, we want to hear what you guys think.
All right. And that's a wrap. In Comes the Money, episode 1.
All right. Bye, guys.